Not Christmas, creative notions.
Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. It finally arrived yesterday. My Creative Notions box. So let's get it open. I've heard so many rave reviews. I haven't watched any videos yet, but I've heard everybody saying everything nice about it. The fabric's really nice. I don't really know what else came in the box, but let me go ahead and let's get it open and we'll take a look at it, okay? Alrighty, it's got really nice blue. I'm not going to take it out for fear it might fall apart. So this is what it looks like. Really nice, pretty wrapping paper. Okay. And we have our paper on the top. Whoops. Right like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the position of my camera. Let's see. Okay, so this is our December box, although it's January, no big deal. And it says New Beginnings, which is a perfect title. And it is a new mindset, new focus, new start, new intention, and new results. I don't know what all's in here. Let's see real quick. I'm going to open it. Okay, so our maker planner is in here, which I heard about that. Let's see. Okay, let's go to what's in the box. So we've got our fat quarters, our planner. We have some Chanel, a pattern, Chanel quilt pattern, diamond quilt pattern, and then we have our assembly pattern for the Dottie assembly. Now the Dottie was last year's planner. Every month shows a square, and so a lot of us YouTubers, including Vicky, the lady that owns the Creative Notions, made one of the blocks. We all made some blocks, and then now we're going to assemble them, okay? And you could have bought the kit if I don't know if they're still available. If the kit is available, you can still get that. And it's showing us how to put it together. Now, the box runs about $50 a month, and the total value of this box is $85.99. I don't know of another box out there that you can get such a good value for the price. Now, that is in the USA. I don't know what the international and all that is. I do know that she ships there. I just don't know the prices of that. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and dig into our box. So the very first thing we have is a banana bread recipe. Let me see, who donated that? Okay, I'm not gonna know her name. I'll try her name. It looks like, I think that's a Orsana Koskio? I'm not sure, but let me just put it up there. And congratulations to her for the banana nut bread. I mean the banana bread. Automatically I say nuts in it. And you can, it's an option to put, you know, pecans, whatever kind of nuts you like, dates, chocolate chips. You could even put the caramel chips. Those are pretty good too. So it's just your preference. Looks pretty good. Looks like a lot of stuff that you have in your kitchen. It's not like you've got to go out and buy a lot of things. Looks good. Okay. And now we have, let's show the Chanel first. And you want to make sure, so they've got it in a little bag like this, okay? Let me show it to you. And I want to let you know right off the bat, not that it's happened to me, I have used Chanel before. It looks like that, but it also looks like a bias tape. So you don't want to go and use this as bias tape by mistake, okay? Now, what I used it on, and I've got a video of the quilt that I made, and it was for a baby, and the quilt had, because it had a frog and a pond and everything, and when I sewed I put, I'm going to call it, let's see, what do you call it? Oh, for heaven's sakes, line blank. Whenever you add, oh, embellishment. Okay, so when I embellished it, I used white of Chanel so that when it got washed, it would be all fluffy. Okay, it was just an idea that came to me while I was making the quilt. But anyway, and I had used a panel to start out with and then added to it, and I showed it to y'all. So that comes, and that's really nice when that washes up. And then we have, let's see here, she's put candy in here, which is very sweet of her. I don't know what kind of candy it is. We'll check it out later. Let me get out the patterns. So we have the Chanel Diamond Quilt pattern. Let me take it out of the bag. If I can get a grip on it. There we go. Okay, here we go. So let me go ahead and turn my camera around so you guys can see all of this on the table instead of me holding it up each time. Okay, so here is the Chanel. Let's pull that one out by itself. Okay, there's the Chanel Diamond Quilt. It's finished size at 38 by 45.5. And they are putting, it's got two options, it says, for the Chanel. So first they have it on the border, okay? And then they put the Chanel between the blocks right here. All right. So that's the two different ways to make the quilt. And it looks like half square triangles. The whole thing is half square triangles. Here's a half square triangle if you just look at that square right there. See the two right there? Okay, that's nice. I don't think it's going to be hard. All of this stuff is really, really easy, friendly. Shows you how to make your squares, your half square triangles, and how to cut them down. See, that's it. And you know, you can always make it out of your own fabric. You don't need to make it out of the fabric that they're showing. And here's all your directions. All right, and then the next one, let's see, I'll go this way with it, is the border and the assembly. So that's what it's going to look like. Now, their border, they've put all those little half square triangles along the border. Now, you don't have to do that. You can have a plain piece of fabric. You can do bigger half square triangles. You can do and if you like to do small like this, you can also do a piano board outer border if you'd like, or leave it off. It's just going to be your preference. And then it tells you how to do it. And I was looking to see where the didn't it say something about telling us? All right, let me look again here to look. Okay, so here it says there is a pattern correction. Oh, they just wrote it on there. I'll tell you that here in a minute. Okay, so here's what it'll look like when it's finished. This is the assembly of it. I always like the pictures of the assembly, the way they've got it. I think that always looks nice. And then there they've put it together before they put the borders on it. So, there you go. So that's those two patterns. And then here it says there's a pattern correction for that sampler Christmas tree block. So the background, if you get this paperwork here, should have been a 2 by 2, two of them, 2 1/4 by 12 1/2. It actually says 6 1/2, but it meant 12 1/2. So you'll get that. I mean, if you get this little thing here, and if you don't, you've got it right there. You can go back to this video and see it right there. Okay. Let me set that aside. Excuse my table, it's a mess. And here we have the fat quarters. And I love their little ties. Those are so cute. Let's see if we can get that unwrapped. All the little things. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I hold on to all these little ribbon things. Okay, let's take a look at these fat quarters. And they are put together a little bit different, but let's just open them up and take a look at them. Oh my gosh, look at that. Is that not cute? I'm going to try to straddle my camera here. All the little, whoops, and their little baby fox, baby rabbit, little baby lamb, little ducks down there. See that? They've even got a mouse. He's there on the berries with the flower. That's adorable. And then we have some flower with blue background. That's pretty. That's really, really pretty. Hopefully my camera's doing the colors justice. And then we have the stripes that go with it. Oops. And they look like they've actually been painted on here. Because if you look and see, I'm going to show you here. Looks like they got out of the border there as if it was a paint stroke and it got off a little bit. That's nice. So it's not just a true stripe like this is an actual stripe. So it looks like it's kind of a little bit of wiggly, like paint, like you did watercolor painting. back off from this thing right here. It's bumping it. Okay. And then here is some fabric with words, which I really like. And it has a blue background. So let's see, what does it say? Love isn't a big thing, it's a million little things. What's this one say? Sometimes a very small thing, big place can occupy a very, in your heart. I don't understand that saying, but let's see. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, do you know how loved you are? That's cute. And then they got some really pretty little blue stars on white fabric. That's nice. Look how pretty that is. Can you imagine that being on the back of a baby blanket? That's really pretty. And then instead of the white background, we have the blue, and then the color they left out of here is that pink color, because it had a little bit of pink. It had yellow, green, blue, and pink. So that's nice. And then we have the flower pattern again. Instead of a blue background, it has white. So that's nice. I feel like I got a bulb burnt out here. And then the words, instead of on the blue background, it is white. And I think they're the same. Yes. One small moment of joy can shine for a lifetime. That's pretty. Alrighty, so now we have our planner next. So let's take a look at that. And I believe this is the Hunter Star pattern. And where do I open it at? There we go. And I like that pattern. I have not made a quilt out of that yet. And believe it or not, I do have the die for my AccuQuilt cutter for that exact pattern. That would look good on a pillow too. So there's the 2021 planner. Let's see what they got to offer here. So there's your personal information. And then you have contacts, names, and address. Of course, you could put email addresses or YouTube video addresses. It doesn't have to be your physical address of anyone. Let's see if I can get it started here. There we go. A couple pages. Birthday. Okay, where you buy your... So let's say that you bought something online, and this is what I'm bad about, so I'm glad I got this book. You could actually put down what you got and where you got it so that you know where to go get it. Because I've had a lot of people ask me, where did I buy something? And for the life of me, I can't tell you. I mean, I've got to... If I can go into my history and look, like on my Amazon account or my Fort Worth Fabric Studios or wherever, even Creative Notions. As long as I got a history of it, where I went and shopped and got it, then I can tell you. But if I don't even have a history, I can't. So that's a good little item to have. And then here's something so that you can put a little, whatever you need in there, some needles or fabric, a little swatch. And then we have the holiday dates. The blue ones are all the federal holidays in case you're off on those days. And then down here at the bottom, it lists them. So you know. Of course, everybody knew when New Year's Day was, first of the year. Martin Luther King Day is coming up. Whether you celebrate them or not, or even want to be aware of them, they're there for you. And then it shows that the yellow ones are the others. Okay, and then you can always circle your own dates, like your birth date or your family members. And then they have a yardage chart, which I think is wonderful, because I usually print these out when they have them. Okay, telling you how many yards you need for something specific. And then there's some fabrics. And here's your pre-cut chart. So if you use, let's turn it this way for you so you know. So if you had 2 yards, which is by 36 inches, that's what a yard is 36 inches. Let me put it down so you can see it. So 1 yard actually equals 36 inches. And the width of the fabric, if it was 44, I don't find a lot of fabric back in the 32, 33. Every now and then there is, but normally it's 44, 45 now. And then it can tell you what all you can get out of here. So, for example, let's turn it this way so we can read it. We can get 10 by 10, which is your layer cake. That's one of the ways one of the companies describe it. And you can get 42 pieces out of 1 yard of fabric. Alrighty, so that's a real good thing to know. And then the next page is your backing and your binding. So it gives you ideas about calculating. And you can, when you go to attach 2 pieces, you can do it this way, or you can do it the way that I learned it, where you just butt the 2 fabrics up. So it just depends on what you're making and what you're attaching your binding to as to how, which one you want to use, one or the other. Because I've done both ways and I've used one or the other depending on my project. So here's your half square triangle reference sheet. So it tells you if you cut a square, let me go down here, it's easier to, oh my. So if I cut a square 8 by 7/8 inch, it would be unfinished at 8 inches. And if I want to do, you can do your half square triangles either 2 at a time, that's what you would get. The next section here is 4 at a time, that's what you would get, and 8 at a time. And there's a lot of videos out there that shows you how to do that. And here's your methods. I mean, it even shows you on this next page. Here's where you're going to do 2 of them. This is the way a lot of people do them when they cut them out. Especially if you're going to do a scrappy quilt, you're just using your little pieces and everything. That's the way you would do it. If you had a bigger piece of fabric, then you would do it this way. This is where you go 4 per time. That's what this means. You're going to get 4 half square triangles if you could do this route where you take the 2 pieces of fabric and you go around them 1/4 inch, and then you're going to cut them in half, which gives you 4, and that gives you 4 of them right there. And then if you want to do 8, this is the way that you would do the 8. And this is where I show you how to do the marking so that you don't jip yourself on your 1/2 inch square size. And there's when you end up with 8 of them. And then of course here's a strip unit if you want to do that. I don't usually do the strip unit. I usually will do one of these others. So that's really good reference. And then you have your abbreviations, which it seems like every day they add another one. So half the time, like if I saw somebody make a comment and all of a sudden they wrote TBO, I would not know to be quilted unless I looked at this real quick. Now I'll know it because I did that. But you know what a swap is, a stash. A lot of these you know, and if you have made quilts and you have followed patterns, then you're going to know some of the words like stack and whack, the capital S, little n, W, capital W. See, I just call it stack and whack, but I didn't realize they had a little abbreviation for it, acronym. And that's your normal ones, and then they have some for fun, starting here. It seems like a lot to learn, but after you use them a bit, then you get familiar with them, just like the half square triangle. And then here they have a color wheel, which is really, really nice. Tells you your primary, secondary. And then they have the hues, so you can look at them, learn them if you've never learned them. And then I must say, if for some reason, this is not a negative response or anything, but if you are, and maybe you don't know it yet, but let's say that you got this and you're looking at it, or you've got someone that's looking at it, and they can't tell the difference. In other words, they look at this, and they see one color for all 4, then they have a little bit of color blindness. And they won't know that if they don't look at something like this. Because how do you know if you've never talked about it and had a conversation about it or said something about it? Nobody's going to know. But now you would know. And there's all kinds of variations. I used to think that you either were or you weren't, but it's not like that. So there's, like I said, there's variations to it based on the colors that you can see. And then here is all of the year on one whole page in case you needed it for reference. And then here you can keep track of any kind of swap project. So for example, I joined the Lisa Marie, the pillowcase swap, as well as the Valentine swap, which is ongoing right now. If anybody wants to check it out, you know, you can go over to that website. Whoops, I'll put a link below. So it's going to give you some pages, and you can take photos, and you know, you can take a photo with your telephone and print it out. And it can be a color photo if you've got a printer, or I don't think you can send them over to Walmart anymore. I think they quit that by my Walmart, but it's got 3 pages for that. And then here we go. They're going to show us, they showed us the shoe fly block for January. And then here it has important dates down here. The road to California is from the 21st to the 24th of January. And that is the website for information. And then when you flip this, it has a little pocket here. So if you want to put any kind of information in here, you can even put some little post-it notes or something for yourself. And then here's your tracker habit. And that doesn't necessarily have to be anything about your diet. It can be anything and everything you want to keep track of. Okay? So that's pretty good. It says tasks here, but a task can be anything from drinking water to making something specific or doing something new or keeping track of what you're doing. And you can use your colored pens on this page also. That would help that you got last year's boxes. And then here's the month broke down, and I think this is a pretty good size because I normally will write down the video that I do on my Wednesdays or my Saturday, or when I do my Monday videos or my live videos. They all go down in here on the specific date. Then all I got to do is flip through my book to see when I put one up. But also it helps me going forward. For example, I have a couple of videos that I've already made for Wednesday, Saturday, and the following Wednesday. And then I'm going to add more videos that I want to make. So I normally put them here in my notes. Okay, so I'm in the process of making a couple of videos, so I will be writing them down here so I can make sure that I do get them made and get them up, because having them made and having them edited is 2 different things and usually takes 2 different days to do it. So I got to make sure that I did it, and then I'll just put a check mark by it, shows I did it, and then I'll put it on whatever date that I'm going to, and I always do mine in pencil. I know a lot of people say, well, write in ink, it's permanent and all that, but my problem with that is that once I get my video up and I have it online, I may have it dated for Wednesday, but then something else I felt came important and I need to take that Wednesday and move it to Saturday because I just went and made another one for Wednesday. So that's how I keep track of mine with pencil, whatever. And then here's your project sheet. So you can keep track of all the different projects, the size, everything, all kinds of multiples on that page. Make sure I bring the book down far enough for you to see. And then in this case, if you've learned something new, and it doesn't actually need to be a project like you learned a new stitch, but let's say you learned how to use a new kind of thread, okay, like silk thread, or maybe you learned how to use a new foot or a new needle. I'd still put that stuff down here because you learned it, okay? You learned how to use it. You want to keep track of that. And so they have a few pages for that. Get down a little bit so you can see. And then we have the month of February. And here's for some photos and notes. And then this month shows the card trick block. I made my son a table runner with this card trick block. It was really, really cute. It was all black and red. It was really, really nice. And another pocket. Then you got your tracker again, just like before. So it repeats it. Let me see if that's the way they are between here. I think they're all the same. So every month you can do the same thing. So March has our Irish chain. That's the block for that month. I don't know if Vicky's going to do this again. If she's going to have everybody make another block. If you're interested in that, you need to tell her so that she knows that you guys want that done. And this would be a challenging block for a few, the bear paw, but that is a really pretty block when that gets done. And that's April. Let's go to May and see what they got. And they've got the monkey wrench block. That's a nice block also. I have that in my die from Quilt also. And then June we have the duck tracks. And then for July we have the chain link. That looks really nice. That's like an optical illusion. And then August, we have the carpenter's wheel. It has a lot of half square triangles in it. Here's a half square triangle. There's one. There's one. And then your little square blocks also. I know some of this stuff looks hard, but as you slowly piece it together, it really is easy. And here's our weather vane block for September. October has the Carolina lily. That's a pretty block. I believe that that block was used in the, what was it? The donated, oh gosh, I can't think of what it was called. I had it up on my wall. Y'all will think of it. You'll remember it. And then here is the folded corners for November. And then for December, you have the Tree of Life. So that's that. Let me see if there's anything else at the back of that. Was it for the book? So I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Alrighty, hopefully the lights will not glare me out. I am showing you everything laid out here on the table. So there is the Chanel Diamond Quilt. And I believe that they will have panels and everything online. You can always go to their website, check it out after we get a box, y'all. Or anybody else after they get a box. That's the Chanel package it came in. It's got a little bitty rope on the top. There is our Dottie sampler. The borders and the assembly of it. There's the banana bread. There is our Creative Notions subscription pamphlet. And then here is all the fat quarters laid out here. And let me see if I can do a little bit of backup on it. There we go. To see everything we got in the box.
Here's the quilt block competition I was talking about.